Let's go, baby. Welcome in. We're doing playoff stashes around here, by the way. I don't know if you got the memo, but welcome in.
A year ahead of you.
Yeah. That's fine. It's fine. Whatever. I'm here
David,
now.
show everyone your playoff mustache.
Yeah, where's your playoff mustache, Damon? Huh?
Guys, the playoff starts tomorrow.
All
there
right.
will be a playoff mustache tomorrow.
He did set a Siri reminder for himself to shave a mustache. Meanwhile, I did this to myself. Welcome into another edition of the PHNX D-Backs podcast right here on PHNX. Of course, I am your mayor of PHNX, occasionally known as Derek Montija, because I'll say it with a... I'm saying like I should say it, I guess. This man next to me, he's in charge of all of the utilities in this town. He's Mr. Electric himself, Shawn DePaz.
I don't get my
Shawn DePaz.
Thank you.
That's the best I can do. And of course, the very lovely Danielle Cortez is here as well.
Let me have my moment here.
Go ahead.
Okay, we got playoff baseball, baby. Who could have seen that coming?
Several of us.
Oh, that's right, I did. I did.
I wasn't on the show. I said nothing.
I literally predicted that the Diamondbacks would have a record between 83 and 85, and their record was 84. So I don't see me here bragging about any of this.
In this exact chair.
Yeah.
And I said, dead in the camera. I pointed at the camera, and I said, D-backs are making the playoffs, and everybody laughed at me. And now here we are, baby. We did it. This is my victory lap.
That set like Rockies.
Yes, it was. And it was also her yelling into the camera, which is what we laughed about more than the idea of them making the playoffs.
It's going to be a loud show today, so buckle up.
Yeah, well, we knew that the Diamondbacks, around these parts, we knew the Diamondbacks had a chance of making the playoffs. But, of course, at least this guy over here, I tend to overcorrect. Meanwhile, we have a known fan of the Chicago Cubs, Craig Morgan, is joining us on the show very quickly. Craig, what do you have to say?
I just want to point out that someone convinced me the Cubs were going to be in the playoffs this year. I don't want to say who, but it's someone on the show.
He's right.
I'll call myself out there. I did think the Cubs were going to make the playoffs. I did have money on the Cubs making the playoffs. Listen, I'm as disappointed, if not more, than you are, Craig.
Yeah. I don't think
I revel in your disappointment.
I don't think you can understand my disappointment.
Yeah.
It's a lifetime. Thanks for adding to my pain.
Yeah, no problem. No problem.
I'm glad to be of service to you.
I don't know how his pain brings me so much joy, but it really does. It really does.
Like I told him the other day, I never expected to be in a situation where I needed to directly root for their downfall in order for us to succeed. So it was what it was, but I was rooting for the Cubs for most of the season.
Yeah, I mean, the man covers the Coyotes. Doesn't he hurt enough?
I know, you're right. You're right.
We should know better.
We should,
right? Like nobody is like Damon tried his hardest in the offseason to get me to believe in the Buffalo Bills, and I did not. Because
and now you do.
I do now, but because they have made me believe. But all I'm saying is if you've really been through that kind of trauma, no outsider should be able to convince you that it's going to be better than it's been every year for your entire existence.
Well, and that's what it comes down to with the Arizona Diamondbacks, right? Here at the end, there was a lot of pain. A lot of our followers on Twitter would message us daily telling us how they weren't going to make the playoffs. And let's be honest, they got swept by the Astros. They almost didn't make the playoffs, right? But we can't dwell on that. They tried their hardest not to make the playoffs. But thanks to the Reds, they
to be
make
fair,
it.
that last game, they were never going to win that.
No, I'm not.
As somebody who is in the clubhouse by the pool, they weren't going to win that game.
Oh yeah,
there's no way they were going to win that game.
I said on the show that night to bet all over the Astros because there was no shot the Diamondbacks were ever going to show up. So after the first two games, I didn't care that they got swept, but I would have liked them to win one of the first two games, if not both of them.
But let's be honest, there was part of the discussion has been, especially from people who aren't Diamondbacks fans, and even from a couple who are, there have been some that have been critical of the Diamondbacks celebrating the way that they did, considering that they didn't win their way into the playoffs. I even saw this term quite a bit. More than one person told us that they backed their way into the playoffs after they got swept by the Astros at home. And honestly, there's a little bit of truth to that because yes, if they wouldn't have been helped out by the Reds, if the Reds wouldn't have, if they would have won out, the Diamondbacks wouldn't be here right now.
But they also would have played. They would have showed up on Sunday.
That's very true.
I mean,
that's very true.
That's why the sweep doesn't really mean much to me because that last game of that series was a complete throwaway. They were like Danielle said, they were never going to win that game. But I mean, they definitely did back their way into the playoffs. But also, who gives a shit? They're in the playoffs.
Exactly. Would you rather back your way into the playoffs or sprint to the finish.
Hold on.
Sprint to the finish like the San Diego Padres and not make it.
Yeah,
I would rather back in.
After a 5-day work week, I celebrate in a similar fashion myself. Just after making it that many days, I can only imagine making it through a 162 game season.
Derek gets off on a Friday. And
I fucking it's like
balls into his pool.
It's like Stone Cold Steve Austin time with the beers and
did you
shit.
see Stephon Diggs celebration yesterday?
Yes, I did see Stephon Diggs.
Did you see Stephon Diggs celebration yesterday?
I hope
Damon?
he bought those people $36 worth of beer. I hope he did.
Yeah, for real.
Yeah,
like,
that
I
was a lot of beer.
$18. I was like, per beer, dog. It's not cheap out here.
But here's the thing. Are we not allowed to enjoy the achievement of being one of the 12 teams that make it to the postseason, no matter how you made it there? Do earlier wins, do the things that you achieved earlier in the season not also count to this success? I was thrilled to see them success or celebrating the way they did. I was interested to see how it was going to go, right? I was interested to see if they were going to go all out. And next thing you know, we got Tori screaming, "I'm not your manager tonight," and
there were some other words.
There were some other expletives in there as well. But yeah, no, I mean this was well, and I know you were there in the clubhouse, you were there at poolside and everything like that. And just, I mean, what are your thoughts on that and that criticism essentially that this team shouldn't be celebrating that much over not making it there
Okay,
themselves?
You might get me going here. I'm also pretty caffeinated, so
let's go.
Like I said, this is gonna be a loud show. Let them celebrate. Who was it? Michael in the chat. Yeah, 110 losses 2 years ago.
Yeah, exactly.
And everybody,
we were here for it.
Listen, everybody but me, I'm gonna honk that horn until the day I die. Everybody but me said they weren't gonna make it. Let them have their fun. They're
don't say everybody. I don't think I ever made a statement one way or the other.
It's wild, yeah, because I also said they were going to make the playoffs.
Let me have my moment.
Calm down.
I never said they were going to make the playoffs, so you definitely get to have that moment.
I
don't want to be lumped in with the doubters.
Yeah,
just attack Derek specifically.
I fucking said they were going to win 85 games. This is a crazy moment. But go ahead.
They're a bunch of young kids who made the playoffs despite everybody thinking they wouldn't, right? Yeah. Let them celebrate. Let them have their fun. And, go. I don't want to dismiss this year's playoffs, right? I'm all in. I'm going to be devastated if they lose. But the big thing is, let them get this out. Let them enjoy the playoffs. Yeah. When next year, when the time comes, when they are expecting this, then it's business as usual, right?
Yeah.
Let them have their fun, man.
Why are we regulating fun? You know what I mean? Why are we deciding which teams would get to celebrate in one way?
Like you said, it's a 162 game season.
It's crazy.
They played 161 games.
Yeah.
Yeah, and usually being negative immediately after like a great thing happening to your organization is reserved for Denver Nuggets fans. So like, wow. I don't know. I definitely get annoyed. Like, I just think it's such a lame energy to you get clinched the playoffs and your instant reaction is to complain.
Sure.
Like,
well, not only to complain, but immediately to say stuff like, "Well, they're not going to make it past the Brewers or whatever."
Who
right?
cares? Yeah, they might not.
They might not.
Literally, who gives a shit?
Right.
Who cares? Like, yes, who cares?
Yeah,
I'm with Danielle. Like, I'll be devastated when they get eliminated from the playoff because more than likely they're going to get eliminated from the playoff because they were never fucking meant to be here in the first place.
Yeah.
So like, I'm just gonna, in my mind, it's house money. I'm just gonna celebrate that they're here, and any hit they get, any strikeout, like anything positive, I'm going to celebrate because I didn't expect to be watching Diamondbacks baseball on October 3rd.
Well, to be honest, that's the energy that they actually need. They need to come into this without that pressure because we've seen them at times, especially when the big game is on the line, when the big, like this, when the playoffs were on the line, they weren't able to, get some wins here. All they needed was one win to secure it themselves down the stretch.
And they didn't get it.
And they didn't get it, but we also know that at times this team, when they're able to put that whole kind of the pressure aside, the pressing aside, that we've seen them have a great deal of success.
That's the whole first half of the season in my mind. Right. Like, there was no pressure on this team. And then you get to the All-Star break and you have All-Stars and people are paying attention.
4 All-Stars.
And then things obviously got a little ugly. But I mean, for the whole first half of the season.
They bounced back.
Yeah, and they did bounce back. But there was like no pressure on the team at all.
Correct.
And like now you go into a series against the Brewers, who I think have, like, I get that they're not the Braves or the Dodgers, so no one's really expecting them to come out of the National League. But if you're the Brewers, like, you can't keep just doing this shit where you win the division and you get to the postseason, then you get eliminated because you're the fucking Brewers. Like, there's pressure on that team as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah.
So
and like you said, the Diamondbacks shouldn't. They weren't supposed to be here. They are ahead of schedule. So hopefully, the idea that they can go in and just be that disruptor like they were earlier on, to come in and to be able to kind of have that pressure off because, yeah, if they do lose, it's not great, but this is great. This achievement is great. Getting as far as they did is great, and it's a step in the direction. Teams can't always make those giant leaps, from being like, even credit to the Baltimore Orioles who made that gigantic
who were in
leap.
the same position, right?
Right. I mean, but the Baltimore Orioles arguably are a deeper team that right now has, more, honestly, they have more pressure on them because right now they're seen as kind of a favorite, right? And like they didn't have that in between time.
They're the 1 seed, not just kind of.
Right. I mean, well, that's what I'm saying, right?
Yeah. They're obviously in a very different place where their fans, I think, are definitely expecting them to win a World Series this year, right? Like it's obviously not the case for the Arizona Diamondbacks. And also, like this first series you're not going to be in front of your fans at all. Like it's just play ball.
Life's like Elise said in the comments, life's too short not to celebrate when you can, right?
Yeah.
Have fun. Like, man, you made the playoffs. Shawn, I think you said it on Saturday. Like, you're one of 12 teams that has a chance to win the World Series.
Yeah.
Enjoy it.
Yeah.
Like, go out and ball out when it's time to when it's time. But
listen, if we lived in a world where everyone was being crucified for celebrating stuff that they maybe shouldn't be celebrating, I would be dead about 1 million times over. Go watch me spend an hour in a Dave and Buster's.
Yeah. It's disgusting.
It is disgusting.
He has no class. He has no class when it comes to winning.
To small children. I'm out here doing like LeBron showstopper to Leah in her face when we're all there.
He started throwing the basketball backwards and shit. It was ridiculous.
I'm talking big shit. So like, and you know what? That's for tickets, not a goddamn World Series.
He just wants to win. A little plant that dances when you play music around.
I got a coffee mug.
Yeah.
I was doing that off a coffee mug.
He does. He's a wild monster. But
and that's why we love you, Shawn.
That's why we love you. Anyway, big news though. Big gigantic news. Huge news. According to Adam McElvey, the Milwaukee Brewers will be without Brandon Woodruff, which obviously is one of the 3 starting pitchers that the Diamondbacks would have faced. One of the formidable trio that the Brewers would have put out there against the Diamondbacks. According to this tweet, Brandon Woodruff has a right shoulder injury and will miss the NL Wild Card Series. His availability is up in the air for the remainder of the postseason, Craig Counsell said. So, again, the Arizona Diamondbacks might, when you talk about their actual chances in the postseason, sure, based on, the regular season, some of the things like run differential, whatever, the Diamondbacks might be a major underdog. But other teams like the Atlanta Braves and the Los Angeles Dodgers have all lost starting pitching due to injuries and other reasons. And you just never know when circumstances might line up in favor of the Arizona Diamondbacks. Yeah. This is unfortunate for the Brewers, but this is a big win for the Diamondbacks as far as their game plan goes.
You never want to celebrate anybody getting hurt.
Never at all.
Right? But if the opportunity presents itself, then you don't let up.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, that's really what it's about. It's really about capitalizing on things like that happen, right?
Yeah. I mean, now you have Brandon Pfaadt going game 1. And then
Savage as name of it.
Yeah, and and then you got one of the best 1-2 combos in baseball going.
Yeah.
Albeit on short rest, but still one of the best.
Yeah.
You'll take your chances, man.
Yeah.
I can't.
Corbin Burns and Freddie Peralta are still pretty good themselves.
They are still very good, but at the same time, if you can get hot that one game, I was talking about this before the show. When was the last time the best team won the World Series? Other than last year, maybe 2016 in the Cubs. It's always the hottest team. So you get hot.
Yeah.
Who knows? You're in the playoffs.
Right.
Anything can happen.
Right. And my concern there is the Diamondbacks aren't hot right now.
They aren't hot.
Right. But like the role they were on, especially after, I guess the first 2 games of the White Sox series, after they beat up on Craig Morgan's Cubs over there. I just wanted to throw that out there. He's still over there making noise with his bags. God, pipe down over there. But there were times where this team looked very potent offensively, and then they kind of got back into a slump here, and it's just not the best way to end the season.
But
however,
it's a team that can switch on a dime.
Yeah.
Right?
We've
seen them go through this and then, put up 10, 12 runs out of nowhere.
Mm-hmm. Well,
so who knows? That's the fun thing about baseball. You never know.
You never know. And especially in a 3-game series, right? We've definitely seen stranger things happen. We know that the Diamondbacks actually have a fairly good record against the Brewers this season. They're 4-2 against the Brewers. They split the season series with the Braves. So some of the teams that they have potentially in front of them, are teams that they've matched up at least well with. We also have the fact that the D-backs went 41-40 on the road this season, so they're not a bad road team. Actually, we've seen certain pitchers even pitch better on the road, like Ryan Nelson. But let's take a look at the Milwaukee Brewers and how formidable they actually are, because this team is very good when it comes both to defense and their starting pitching. They are 6-4 with a plus 81 run differential, 6-4 in their last 10 games, ending the season. I hate that picture so much, by the way. It's just all the things about Wisconsin I don't like, all in one picture. The Brewers, cheeseheads, Christian Yelich, it's all of it. I don't like any of it.
You were going to say you didn't like cheese.
No, I'm a big fan
of cheese.
What do you have
against cheeseheads? I have a cheesehead. I love a cheesehead.
It's don't get me started. But anyway, starting pitching, 6th best in Major League Baseball, 3.94 ERA. Relief pitching, 2nd best in baseball, 3.40. Their offense obviously is the big area where Diamondbacks have an advantage, is that they are not an extremely good offensive team. Their team OPS is 704, which is 23rd in Major League Baseball, but their defensive runs saved, once again, 66 defensive runs saved, good for 22nd, or not 22nd, excuse me, 2nd in the league there. So very interesting, here with the Milwaukee Brewers, because I feel like they are a sneaky good team. I don't think enough people do talk about the Brewers winning 92 games and having some of the best starting pitching and relief pitching in baseball.
Yeah. I mean, again, or I guess not again, but something that we've talked about coming up to it is, like, I think when you look at this team versus the Phillies, ultimately the kind of team you would rather face, because the chance that a pitcher has a bad day, I think, is much better than the chance that an entire lineup goes completely to sleep.
Are you sure about that?
Well, I said the chances are better. I didn't say it was possible. But yeah, I mean, this is obviously, like, considering the offensive struggles that this team has gone through recently and at times throughout this season, like, certainly concerning. Certainly a way you could certainly see a world in which the Diamondbacks lose the first 2 games and have scored like a total of 4 runs because the pitching staff is just that good. But again, like, it's also, I can also see a world in which the pitching staff just comes out and, because they're the Brewers, is just not that good, and the Diamondbacks rock them and then they win 2 games. So I don't know, like, I would rather a team that was worse at pitching, that's for sure. But I'm still happy with playing them over the Phillies.
Yeah, I think ultimately you would rather the Brewers, because they, other than their starting pitching, they remind me a lot of the 2021 Giants, where they, like, don't do anything spectacular other than pitch.
Yeah.
Otherwise, they're just pretty solid all around. Whereas, the Phillies are a bit of a juggernaut at home.
You need more than that in the postseason.
Yeah.
You need someone that's going to show up in big moments.
I feel much more comfortable playing the Brewers than I do the Phillies, for sure. Mostly because offensively, you can get your outs.
Mm-hmm.
Christian Yelich isn't quite the player he once was. He's still potent, but he's not that guy anymore. So yeah, I would much rather the Brewers. I'm feeling pretty good, especially with Woodruff out.
That definitely helps.
I don't want to get my hopes up because this is Arizona sports we're talking about. Yeah. But
I'm not viewing this as like some kind of massive uphill battle for the Arizona Diamondbacks. Like, I think this is certainly a series in which I could see them winning. Like I just said, I think it's in my mind, it's kind of a coin toss. Like, it's just a matter of which way things break because it's the postseason.
I have my concerns. I definitely do, because again, the pitching, the Diamondbacks at times have made bad starting pitching look like all-stars, right? Mm-hmm. They've made them look like Cy Young contenders.
They just
did it this weekend. So that's more my concern. My concern, again, is also the way that they've played. It's just about being in that state of mind, right? Like, there is something to be said about celebrating, and I am all for what the Diamondbacks did as far as celebration. I want to make that clear. But sometimes if you do that and then you have the off day where you kind of give some of the lineup off, and now you have another off day, and then you're traveling, and like, there's just a lot of things that I hope they can stay in the groove, because I feel like those are the teams that do well in the playoffs lately. I think that's why it's a detriment a bit to the teams that have the bye, right? Because you could say, yes, they get time to rest up, but
it's a lot of time.
It's a lot of time, and baseball tends to be a game of just habit and staying in your routine, and that helps you to stay dialed in, whether you're a pitcher or
the Brewers. They've been going through this longer than the Diamondbacks have. Like, the Diamondbacks just clinched 2 days ago or whatever it was. Like, the Brewers have known they've been in the playoffs for like a week or two. So,
and it could be an advantage for the Diamondbacks too, as far as that goes.
If that's your concern, then I mean, the Brewers are also facing that, if not worse. So,
yeah, no, for sure. But again, it's more of the offense and just the way they've played lately. Of course, starting pitching. You're right. I mean, I don't feel great about Brandon Pfaadt getting game 1 against Philadelphia Phillies, but I like this start.
I can see Pfaadt shoving.
I feel better about him in Milwaukee than I do in Philadelphia.
Yeah, for sure. Because they just got some guys that do nothing but hit bombs in Philadelphia.
It's got a leadoff Schwarber written all.
It sure does.
Like game 1, instant, and then the Phillies are going back to the World Series.
So it'll be interesting to see how things line up for the Brewers. We do have the probable for this game. Of course, it is Brandon Pfaadt. Pfaadt Tuesday is here again. Celebrate, throw some beads, do all that stuff. And then he's matching up, of course, with very, very good Corbin Burns. And like we said, the Brewers do have the most formidable starting.
Corbin Burns has Brandon Pfaadt posters on his wall in his room.
I think so, too.
Yeah?
He's got Pfaadt's jersey. He's like, so at least looking forward to the jersey swap after.
I will say at least Corbin Burns has made it known that he doesn't care much for the Milwaukee organization. So, hey, at least that's something that we have to build on. What can we expect to see from him? Who the hell knows? We have no idea. We have literally seen the best and the worst out of Corbin Burns as a team. And when I say that, I mean that literally. On April 11th, when the Diamondbacks played the Brewers here in Arizona, he fucking shoved. He went 8 innings, gave up 3 hits, no runs, no walks, 8 strikeouts. On June 19th, however, in Milwaukee, in 5 innings, he gave up 8 hits, 7 runs, 7 earned runs, 2 walks, 3 strikeouts. Completely different guy.
That one was in Milwaukee?
That one was in Milwaukee. So there you go.
We've seen pitchers be terrible at home. So.
We have. It's not the first time.
Looking at you, Ryan Nelson. But yeah, it would. Yeah. Listen, again, being a professional, like being a pitcher is not easy. And you're, like pitchers especially are the ones that always end up with the reputation of disappearing in the postseason.
Yeah.
And like, it's not like anyone on this Brewers organization has a great playoff resume. So I think there's a certain amount of like, there's like some naivete for the Diamondbacks where like none of them have ever played in like big moments like this.
Yes.
There's not that kind of pressure of like what happens if we fail. Or like, the Brewers, they keep failing. Yeah. They know there's going to be that pressure on them. They know they failed.
Ignorance is bliss for the Arizona Diamondbacks. We got a bunch of young guys that are like, also, hey, this is cool.
Like you're going into this game where you have their best pitcher versus Brandon Pfaadt. If you're a Brewers fan, you're like, okay, if there's going to be an easy win or if there's like one game that we should win, it's this one. Yeah. And I'm sure the Brewers know that too. Yeah. And so there's going to be, again, even that level, another level of added pressure. The Diamondbacks are going to win this series. I think the Diamondbacks are going to win the series. I feel good about it.
They are a wagon. They are a large wagon. And we are going to circle the wagons here in the playoffs. Of course, the best way to do that is with this incredible shirt. Make sure to go get yourself at the PHNXlocker.com our wagon shirt. It's here. It's out. It's beautiful. And of course, the Diamondbacks are a wagon. Huh?
Some diehards already have their
Some diehards do already have it. Yeah, we got some great pictures of people already rocking this beautiful shirt. Get down with the Serpientes and this wagon shirt. Of course, like I said, we're going to circle the wagons this playoff. So make sure you're prepared with the official merchandise of wagon lovers everywhere. Someone got mad at me because I used this shirt and I said, jump on the bandwagon. And people were like, this is not what we need. We don't need bandwagon fans jumping on now. Yes, we do.
Yeah, we do.
Yeah, we do.
There's plenty of room, baby.
There's plenty of room. Yeah, why are we being selfish? Look at all this wonderful room we have in this wagon for new fans to join us.
That's actually insane. Like no one needs more fans than us.
Yeah. Also,
we need Taylor Swift. Like we need Taylor Swift dating Jake McCarthy. That's what we need. That might be why I went with this mustache.
A massive age gap there, is there not?
Stop with the age gap. I hate that you guys are. Taylor Swift is not a 45-year-old person.
Well, but isn't she like 30 something?
So what?
I'm just saying.
I don't like
Let her live.
I honestly don't really know how old she is. And also, like, yeah, the Diamondbacks might be a playoff team and we might be good, but we are the worst team in the playoffs still, probably.
Calm down.
Well, my point is that like no one is bandwagoning the Arizona Diamondbacks. Like,
Yes, there are. No, there are fans that hate every team in the playoff except us.
Well,
like,
that's not bandwagoning. That's not bandwagoning.
Yes, it is.
No, it's not. It is. Like that's just being America's team. Like we're the team of destiny, and everyone wants the Diamondbacks to be like. Everyone's rooting for the Diamondbacks.
Are we America's team?
Yes.
Let's go.
Yes,
I'm good with it.
Officially America's team.
We're officially America's team. Get the shirt of America's team. That wagon shirt.
Taylor Swift is 33.
See, you guys are monsters. You guys are absolute monsters.
Derek, that's so old.
Yeah. get the fuck out. You get out. Jacob, come over here and take over behind the Mac. I'm done with this guy. Not done with you guys, though. Thank you so much for being here in the PHNX Sports YouTube channel. If you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, do so now. Sign up for notifications. That way you don't miss whenever we go live. Leave us a thumbs up just to know that you like us and you like what we're doing. If you're listening on the audio podcasting side, please leave us a review there. We always love the feedback. And of course, make sure you subscribe there as well. One way to make sure that you're ready for the playoffs is to fill up at Circle K, which is America's thirst stop. I was telling my wife about the Inner Circle program last night, as if I don't tell it to all of you folks every single day. And it was weird to do like an ad read in my living room. But that's how on board I am.
PD is doing ad reads at all times.
Yeah, just at all times.
Like he's always
he
doing
hits
an
us
ad
with
read.
one in the hallway when we're walking in and stuff. But yes, get down with the Inner Circle program, like I told my wife, because there's just all sorts of freebies. Free candy, free drinks, 25 cents off your first 5 fill-ups of gasoline per gallon. And of course, that's big. It's not just 25 cents off your fill-up. 25 cents off per gallon, like this guy says. There's nothing more satisfying than seeing that dollar amount just drop right before you fill up. So make sure to check out Circle K's new free membership program. You can join the Inner Circle for free by downloading the Circle K app today. Terms and conditions apply at participating locations. Visit CircleK.com for details. And I'm going to tell you this. They also give you a free bag of chips and a free bag of candy right now. And they're doing that because, as we've said, the Circle K snacks are elite. They want you to try them so you can confirm, because they know you don't trust me in this mustache. So they're like, here, try it for yourself for free.
Never trust a man with a mustache.
Yeah, then once you get in there, of course, you're going to not be able to resist going back for more. But again.
I thought they were going to say they weren't going to be able to resist a mustache.
That too. This was a joke, but this is sticking around. You're going to have to deal with this now. Also, shout out to our friends at Spaghetti Shack, the ASU alum owned and operated Spaghetti Shack, if you will. They serve a menu starring spaghetti, meatballs, garlic bread, and a few other fan favorites. It's simple, but their mission is to provide quality and affordable food as quickly as possible, especially for you ASU kids, so you can spend less time cooking, more time, studying and doing wholesome things that you do, spending time with your loved ones, that kind of thing. Of course, their food is incredible. And the Spaghetti Shack is celebrating their new ASU location with a grand opening. That's old. That opened on August 19th. So, by the way, make sure to check them out in Tempe or wherever, all of the locations here in town, including Queen Creek as well. So, big shout out to Spaghetti Shack. And of course, it's that time. You guys know what it is. As we said, this might be our year, because every year is our year. Every month on this podcast is Hispanic Heritage Month. And we started on the first day. We don't just start it on the 15th. All right. Also, every month is Black History Month. Every month on this show is Women's History Month. Every month on this show is Black Women's History Month. Every week is Shark Week. Every day is Earth Day. And every Monday, we go to the mailbag. Damon, let's go.
My mailbox, always something interesting in my mailbox. I try to get to everything in my mailbox, and then once in a while there's a letter that makes me go wow, wow. My mailbox. All
right, what do we got, Damon? First question. Comes from Mugen _AZ on Twitter, and Mugen asks, how anxious are you guys about the Snakes' hitting woes over the last 2 series? Backing into the playoffs is nice and all. There's that term again. But lack of solid at-bats, especially the runners in scoring position, makes me very nervous. How do they get hot fast? And that's a great question. I don't really know the answer to that. And I think we're going to have to wait and see. I don't know how they kind of get over this. I hope that this is where the value of the coaching comes in, to kind of get them prepared for this, get them not only mentally ready, but to go out there and maybe, because today's a workout day there in Milwaukee, just maybe do some work and get themselves prepared. I don't really know, because they haven't had enough time, I feel like, to get some quality at bats that they could have worked their way out of this slump going into the series.
This is such an interesting series, because so much of the answer is like, I don't know. We're going to have to see.
We don't know how Corbin Burns is going to pitch. We don't know how they're going to react to the situation.
It's like, I don't know.
Yeah.
I think I'm a little anxious about the offense. I think they have shown at times that, when they're impatient at the plate, when they start to press, is when things get a little ugly.
Yeah.
Right. And there is no better time to press than the
playoffs.
postseason.
Yeah.
So again, you really don't know. I am a little worried, but like I said earlier in the show, you really don't know what team you're going to get on any given day.
Yeah.
They've gone stretches where they can't score a run to save their life.
Yeah.
And then they put up 12 runs on the best pitcher in baseball.
And that's
Like,
the thing about
it's
this
just-
that feels very much like that. Like it feels like other series, other times where we've thought, wow, this is bad. Things are bad. Like, honestly, after the Yankees series and going into Chicago, knowing that they were playing the White Sox and that they were going to deal with similar like weather issues and all of that, and just knowing how important that series was, it really was like, I'm very nervous about this. And then that's the time when all of a sudden their bats kind of came alive.
99.9% of that is them being young.
Yeah.
They're just a young team.
Yeah.
Listen, I am not anxious at all. Like, and maybe I will be in the moment. Maybe. OGsBrands.com.
Oh, yeah. Follow them on Instagram.
Yeah, at OGsBrands. But no, like I said earlier, like to me, this is house money. And yeah, I'm gonna be very anxious in the moment. Like if they have bases loaded with 2 outs, I'm gonna be losing my shit.
Yeah.
Like I mean that's how this works. But like up until the games actually start, and we're in the moment. Like in general, like I'm not anxious at all because like both of you had said, like you don't know. So first off, there's no point in being like. There's no point stressing about it because there's just as good of a chance they show up and they score 12 runs as it is they show up and get shut out. And then it's like, again, it's house money. Like even
you're
if
up
they show up
$500
and they don't score a single run in the postseason, like yeah, it's gonna suck. But also it's like okay, go sign a third baseman, another starting pitcher in the offseason, and none of that matters.
Yeah.
So like it's I like I'm not really anxious because like there's nothing to lose. Like. Obviously, other than the games and a chance to win the World Series, which is pretty fucking massive. But like there's nothing
to lose.
Nothing to lose. Like
except everything.
Except for everything. But you know what I mean. Like
no,
they are again playing with house money.
100% agree.
And that's the thing is I've had people ask me about that whole thing, and like it's just. It's not the same thing as being happy to be here, but I guess you could kind of say that.
But I'm
like,
kind of happy to
we're
be
just
here.
kind of happy to be here, right? Like,
being so ahead of schedule.
Yeah.
Yes, this team was never supposed to do this.
And also, I'm 25 years old. I've spent most of my life living in a world where the Diamondbacks would not have made the playoffs this year. Like they were the 3rd wild card team.
That's a fair
so
point.
like, yeah, I'm pretty fucking happy to be here.
Yeah, this could have been as devastating as it was for the Chicago Cubs.
Yeah,
you
imagine
know,
being one spot outside of the
not
postseason.
being there,
Couldn't
just being
be
one
me.
spot out of the
having
playoffs,
a 4 game lead on the second spot in the wild
Sorry,
card.
Craig's still sitting over there. Anyway, my
Love you, Craig.
I wish we had a camera on Craig right now.
That was a death stare.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it really
boy.
was. It really was. No, yeah, you're right. I think that's why I'd say my anxiety level about it is it's there. It's the one thing I worry about because I really do feel like I feel like this team can be good offensively. I feel like they can beat the Brewers. It's just the way they're playing right now. It's this period of time and going into a series that's this big for them. It's just about that pressure being on and them again pressing when they've already kind of been struggling at the plate. Elise, our known baseball GM, she brought up the bases loaded 1 out inning on Saturday where it only took 4 pitches for the Astros to get out of the jam, raised the anxiety. I think there's still a hole in my wall somewhere in my house because of that, but that's another thing to be discussed.
But another part of
That's
that
my
is they had
anger.
already clinched at that point.
Yeah,
No, yeah.
also true.
So-
And also, like, let's be real. You're lying to yourself if you disagree with what I'm about to say. I can also just as likely, like just in the way that they could not show up offensively, can see a world in which Brandon Pfaadt and Merrill Kelly get fucking shit pumped.
Yeah.
And they even if they score 10 runs each game, they still lose in 2. Like, and so again, like there are so many possibilities. You really, like Danielle said, have no idea what's gonna happen. Yeah. So like I understand being anxious, but also it's just like, fuck it. Like anything's possible. What's the point in worrying about it until it happens?
We're here. Like,
Let's
have a
we're
good
here.
time, right? All right. What else we got, Damon? BB Nitro on Twitter asks Brian Bobbitt. He says, what do you guys think is the biggest key for our offense to attack this very good Brewers pitching staff?
Hitting.
Well, no. Yes, but patience.
More than they have. Yeah.
Patience.
Exactly.
I mean, like she said, the four pitch inning to get out of
Gabby
it.
Moreno draw a walk challenge.
I just want to see them in general, make these guys work. I felt like they were effectively doing it at one point against Justin Verlander.
Yeah.
Even though they weren't able to produce offensively against him, they were making his outing short. They were taking good long at bats. As they said on the broadcast, I like when Bob Bradley says, "Is this officially a battle? Is it a battle? Once we go past 7 pitches, it's officially a battle." But that's what I want to see. Yeah. I want to see them battle more. I want to see them be patient. I want to see them taking first pitches more. I don't care what the goddamn scouting chart says or scouting report says. I just want to see them go up there and make these guys work because, of course, their bullpen is also very good. But I feel like if you can get through the starting pitching and not let those guys have a day where they go out there and pitch 7 innings, then, you're increasing your odds to win.
Yeah. And I think patience is a big... obviously the biggest part here, but I think a lot of that is being young. We said earlier, young hitters tend to have impatient at bats, and that's just kind of how baseball works.
Correct.
So if D-backs can stay patient, if you can get into that bullpen, like we said, the bullpen ERA ain't no joke, right?
Yeah.
But you would much rather face a reliever than you would Corbin Burns.
Probably. Yeah. Yes. I mean, getting to the point about them being young, right? The patience is a big part of that. But also part of why they've been so good this year is because they're young. So for me, it's just obviously getting on base, but getting back to creating chaos. The times when you see them be exciting and dominant is when you get a couple of guys on base and then you're double stealing. We saw not too long ago. Yeah. Corbin and Cattell get on, they double steal, and then they both end up scoring because they're just creating chaos. You have to level the playing field because the reality is even if the Brewers are one of the weaker teams in the postseason, most of the team, if you make a run, you're going to have to beat teams that are better than you. And in order to do that, you got to find a way to level the playing field. And I feel like the way that D-backs do that best is by making pitchers uncomfortable, especially like Danielle said, if they can get to the bullpen and they're making those pitchers uncomfortable, that's the way you end up with massive innings.
Yeah.
And so if they can just figure out ways, which again goes back to being patient, if they can draw walks, get into hitters counts, get on base, not try and do too much, and then get on base and create chaos, steal bases, just move around and make pitchers uncomfortable. I think they'll be able to find success that way.
That's the D-backs are a different team when they get guys on base.
Yeah,
just period.
They force the other team to be a different team.
There is a tangible feeling in the dugout, in the stadium when a Jake McCarthy or a Corbin Carroll gets on base.
Yeah,
because they're gonna do something, and they're gonna try and do something.
They've forced defenses and good defenses into errors so often, and if you can force a Brewers team that we've talked about is really good defensively into almost doubting who they are. If you start making them be bad at the things they're supposed to be good at, it's not they're all of a sudden going to start being good at the things they're bad at. You're gonna get into their head a certain amount, and if Corbin is on first and he's stealing and they overthrow it to into the outfield, all of a sudden this good defensive team is not that good defensively because of what the Diamondbacks being good at or doing what they are good at. And then all sorts of doubts start to creep in. So create chaos, make them doubt themselves. And then I thought Michael's comment was something different. But hopefully, and then you have guys like Christian Walker not kill the rally and come in and create big hits. Then all of a sudden, it's not just a 4-0 game. It's a 4-0 game in a way that is stripped the Brewers of their will to live. And then all of a sudden, you're rolling. And
I will not stand for Christian Walker slander.
Yeah, we know no Christian Walker slander.
Christian Walker is gonna have a big
Walker.
hit.
That's how the song starts.
I'm so excited to see who it is that steps up, though.
Yeah,
because you never know.
And we have a question about that. But I'll say this: when it comes to the Arizona Diamondbacks, they're no slouch, right? On defense, their 55 errors through the season is a team record for the fewest in a season, and that is 20 less than their previous record set in 2013 and 2018. They also have the club record for stolen bases with 166, which are 29 more than their previous record. So going back to what you were saying, that's such a big part of their identity is getting on base.
And let's not forget how good defensively they were in 2018.
Yeah, they were very good.
And I think Ernesto in the chat there brings up a really, really good point. 1-2, 2-2 pitch counts. I don't have the stats in front of me. I'd be really interested to see what the D-backs stats are on two strike counts.
Yeah.
Because historically, you were taught to go on 2 strikes.
Yeah.
Right.
Because
it's going to be a breaking ball. They're going to be sort of the plate.
Yeah.
Chaos, creating chaos. It's everything.
That's what it's all
and that's
about.
what this team does best. So.
Yep. All right. What else we got, Damon? Piece of Yoshi, most valuable fam stan on Twitter asked, what are we supposed to do without Zach Davies to fuel our offense? If we are early exits, can we still fire Derek? No, because
we can have that conversation.
No, because you missed it, the entire line is bad grammatically. So like that right there, I'm holding that against you. And yeah, you can give me a thumbs down all you want, piece of Yoshi. I know that was you, but I don't care because no, we're not getting hashtag fire Derek trending in any way.
We might try.
I don't like it. This is the second time he supported you in this.
I'm third in the line of command, moving up to second. Wouldn't be too bad.
That's terrible. See, these people will step all over you around these point. I'm not dying. I'm not gonna die.
Jesse becomes if you get fired, same difference.
I am still the mayor of PHNX. Whenever I get fired or let go, I'm gonna walk around like a crazy person outside of this building.
I did come to the studio one time dressed like you.
That's true. It's true. I didn't like it.
I can take over.
Didn't like it one bit. I will say that when it comes to Piece of Yoshi's question, I don't know what we do. I don't know. You know what I didn't like? I want to take a step back and say this in regards to things that I don't like what they did to JJ. I don't like that they cut out his tongue and perhaps his head. I don't like that they got rid of the victory vest. I think that as we came down to the end of the season, we saw teams still doing cool stuff in their dugout. However, I will say, a lot of those teams aren't here in the playoffs anymore.
The White Sox gangster outfit
with their gangster outfit
is a lot cooler when you're playing.
The Mariners trident, the Angels like samurai helmet.
Dead.
Yeah, see, the Diamondbacks, much like their ability just to part ways with players that aren't performing, they part ways with good luck charms that aren't performing. Absolutely.
That's baseball, baby.
That's why I got rid of my hair. That's why my purple hair is gone, because we don't wait around to see if things are going to work their way out.
I got the purple hair for you.
Yeah, she's got that rocking. All right, what else we got? This one comes from Elizabeth at the Burritosaur on Twitter, and she says, this was what you were bringing up.
Yeah.
Which player would you like to see do something epic to surprise us all this series? Jace Peterson, walk-off home run.
Yeah, I mean,
it can't be a walk-off.
I guess in this series. But.
I mean, jokes, but also, it would also be really cool to see Jace Peterson do something,
have his moment,
like to
have a big Diamondbacks
like if
moment.
you're getting production from unexpected places is what makes playoff teams like surprise people. So there's that.
Let me know when you guys wake up. We're in reality.
What's happening here?
Jace Peterson's not doing anything like that.
I will not say.
I'm not saying he's going to, but it would be great if he did.
I'm not going to stand for Jace Peterson slander either.
Yeah,
he is a delightful human being.
Well, then Danielle, you should never listen to this podcast because on every episode I have Jace Peterson slander.
I mean, he's ready to go at any point.
Real answer, like, I want to see Brandon Pfaadt come out and just fucking shove 7 innings, no runs, and set the tone for the Diamondbacks in the postseason. Like that would get me turned. That offensively. I mean, Mr. Diamondback, Gabby Moreno, like just be the best catcher in baseball.
Mine would be Jake, and I think because we saw Jake have a major miscue in the outfield the other day, I would like to see Jake just. Not only, have one of those days where he does create chaos, where he reaches on one of those bunt singles, and then turns a bunt single somehow into a triple.
Oh, yeah. Jake McCarthy bunt single in a crucial moment. And got postseason magic written all over it.
Right.
Yes.
He did that in freaking LA, the first series of the year.
Right.
See it again.
So, him making some incredible plays out in the outfield. Like, I could absolutely see that. I know that he's the kind of guy that I don't care if those games meant anything at that point or not. I know he is still thinking about that mistake that he made in the outfield. And they get past it. Yeah, they go, but it's one of those things where I feel like Jake McCarthy is the kind of guy who is like,
I want to make up for it.
I want to make up for it.
Yeah.
I want to make sure that never happens again.
I want to see Jordan Waller. That's who I want to see.
That would be incredible.
Let's see it, man.
I would like it. I feel like any moment that Jordan Waller is
amazing.
seeing playing time, I'm going to question why he's seeing playing time in that moment. But if he does something big, like
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, we know how great he can be. We know how great he was in AAA.
Honestly, just give him a couple at bats.
Yeah, he's
like,
still
just give him a
adapting.
couple. He's 21 years old and he's your future superstar. Give him some experience.
He's going to score
He will have played at the end of the series as many playoff series as Mike Trout. Like, give him experience. Let's see it.
Yeah.
That's so depressing.
Oh, man.
That was
mean.
My heart.
That was mean.
That hurt my heart.
Do something, Angels.
We're just gonna
do something.
Like, get rid of Mike Trout.
We're not doing anything.
You
next
have
year.
freaking 2 all-time talents, and you can't do it
for now.
Michael asks, "Is Lawler even postseason eligible?" Yes, I believe so, because he has to do something with an injury, and I don't know. I it's interesting to see. I got to verify that. And honestly, Jesse is in Milwaukee, so he will definitely have more for us.
Jesse has said on a number of occasions that they can essentially use him as an injury replacement.
There's
for somebody who's been on the IL all year, like Mark Melanson.
Right. So there's a good chance that we'll see.
I ran into Mark Melanson in the elevator the other day. Completely forgot he existed.
Yeah, he is a ghost. He's like person. A 59 overall and in single A, I think, in the show. Which is fun. Getting paid $10 million.
Wow. All right. That's video game talk.
Video game talk.
All right. What else we got? Kyle Collins asks, who do you all think will be the biggest X factor in this series with Milwaukee? Obviously, this is a similar question, but I think he's just meaning overall, maybe not so much as a surprise, but who will be the X factor for the Diamondbacks here? He says, I think Perdomo at the bottom of the lineup will be a big swing point for keeping the offense moving consistently. And yeah, I think that's why Torrey absolutely does that. Why we tend to see Gabby and Perdomo down at the bottom of the lineup. I would like to see Gabriel Moreno, to be honest. And I know that's kind of more of your surprise guy, but I don't think it's a surprise any longer. This guy can absolutely rake. And I think that in order for the Diamondbacks offense to be big, we've seen it. Like Gabby being in the lineup, it impacts their ability to win quite a bit. So, obviously him, not only being good offensively, but also, keeping the Brewers from being able to create chaos in the base path themselves.
Yeah. I'll give you 2 people, Kevin Ginkel and Paul Sewald. Like, I don't feel like they're going to be blowing anybody out in these, especially in this series. Like, if they're going to win these games, they're going to be close, presumably. So I think there's a world in which they are going to have to come in and shut out 1 or 2 games in this series in particular. I mean, we've seen Ginkel have bad. Obviously, he's been pretty good as of late, but we've seen him have bad outings every once in a while.
Sure.
Paul Sewald never makes anything easy. So if they, I think it's going to be huge if they do get in that situation, but get in and fucking just do your job. Yeah.
Piece of Yoshi asked if we answered his question already. Get out of here. What is wrong with you? If you're obviously not paying attention to the show.
Piece of Yoshi. Oh, yeah. Piece of Yoshi just showed up.
Yeah.
And he wants me and you fired, Derek.
And he wants us fired.
It's insane.
It's crazy talk. Like, show up on time, and then you can maybe talk about people getting fired. I don't know. What else we got? No more Piece of Yoshi questions. That's for sure. He's done. Nate Mendez asked, what do you think the outfield will look like defensively? I think we'll see the no-fly zone, but I think we'll see Tommy Pham in there as well. I think it's going to depend on the pitching. I think things are going to change in the lineup. I think we're going to see Torrey manage his ass off in this series. And I think we're going to see, like, when he can make switches that make sense, maybe a chance to bring in a pinch runner and leave them in the outfield, maybe due to relief pitching changes and things like that, where I think we're just going to see all sorts of combinations. But I do think that it's going to be, kind of an ever-changing situation. I think Torrey's going to try to, catch him a little bit off guard.
Yeah, I think it's going to be similar to what we see in the regular season.
Yeah.
Right? I think we're going to start off with Lourdes in left, Alec in center, and then Corbin in right.
Yeah.
And then as the game goes on, you adjust defensively.
Yeah, I think it's going to be similar. I mean, Alec obviously got to be in center. Corbin's going to be playing every day, so it's really just a matter of what you do with that third spot. And I think it's going to be I don't know. I'm not super, as much as we were just kind of talking about Jake McCarthy, I am not super excited about the idea of him getting, of him starting and getting big play. I think that's got to be more of a situational type thing. So I think you're going to see a lot more of Lourdes and Tommy Pham. But What if I know? I mean, you mentioned Torey. Like, one of my big things has been big question marks about what he's going to look like as a manager in the postseason. And we haven't talked about that too much. So I'm very interested to see kind of how he operates.
Yeah, well, because Torey operates in a completely different way during the regular season, and that's the last 2 weeks I think has been more of what we'll see out of him in the playoffs, where he doesn't even if like Brandon Pfaadt goes through the lineup twice and has had a tremendous amount of success, I wouldn't put it past him to still pull Pfaadt out of the game, go to the bullpen, things like that. Like
Pfaadt's gonna have a short leash.
I think a lot of people are gonna have a short leash, and to be honest, I think now he's willing to do a lot of different combinations and honestly try to make sure that they're always giving themselves the best option as far as a lineup is concerned. And even if that involves switching things in the middle of the game, I think we're going to see him do a lot of that. I think we're going to just see Torey manage differently than we see him manage for 140 out of the 162 games.
What do you think is going to happen at third base? Like, what do you? Because no matter what happens, it's not going to be fun. Because Piece of Yoshi saying Longoria could play third.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, I like that, and just because it's Evan Longoria, and I mean, you talk about this team being young, like he's the one that's got loads of postseason experience.
Yeah.
At least comparatively. But like, I don't like the idea of Jace being being in the lineup to start game one of the postseason. I'll say that.
Yeah, it's not great.
Yeah, it's gonna be tough, man. I don't know.
Yeah.
I really don't know.
I don't know either. And I bet you Torey don't even know yet.
Longo is probably, with his experience and everything else, I'm sure Longo is probably the safest bet.
Also,
I don't know. I think
stuff like that.
I think given Rivera's track record.
Well, Rivera might not even be on the roster.
Yeah, he might not even be on the roster, but he's come up big during the season, where's
he really
third base has kind of been in a hole.
Yeah.
So
offensively, I think he's been their best option.
Like it's just I don't know, man. Like,
play Waller at short and put Jerry at third. Keep everyone out of the lineup.
There you go. I don't hate that. What else we got? Last question here in the first segment comes from AZ Past and Present. He asks, how strict is Torey going to be with his bullpen this series? I'm assuming we will only see Ginkel, Castro, Sewald, Saalfrank, and Thompson. I'm curious on your thoughts.
I mean,
yeah, that's the guys.
I think tomorrow, like game one will be the big question mark because like we kind of just said, Pfaadt's going to have a very short leash, I have to assume. So if Pfaadt gets pulled like really early or something like that, he's obviously going to have to go a little deeper into that bullpen. But by and large, yeah.
Do we think Frias won't pitch at all?
No. I don't think Frias is going to be on the roster.
Him or Castro could switch there.
Well, no, Miguel Castro has been very good lately.
Recently,
yeah. And I mean, again, you got to ride the hot hand. Miguel Castro, to his credit, is the only guy right there in that list of names that has been here all season long doing it for the Diamondbacks. Not always been great, not always even been good, but I mean, he does have a lot of innings that he has put in for the Diamondbacks, and I think right now he's been pretty good, pretty consistent for them.
And Torey is a very loyal manager.
Maybe too much so.
So he has shown many times that he's willing to ride with his guys, whether they're playing well or not. I think it'll be fair. Words. The answer
words are hard. Words
the
are
answer
hard
here is
sometimes.
I think it's going to be very similar to what we see in the regular season.
Yeah.
I don't think there's going to be too many changes. I think we stick with how things have been going because it's been fairly successful lately.
Well, yeah, lately, but this is a completely different bullpen than when it was, even back in July during the dark times, right?
For the record, Miguel Castro did pitch in the postseason last year with the Yankees. 2 innings pitched, no runs, like just 2 innings of shutout baseball, I guess. So.
All right, well,
it's more playoff experience than most of the roster
has,
so we'll take
that's
it.
True. Go. That is true.
Didn't end well for his team. The New York Yankees.
It didn't end well for me personally. Is another same game parlay that I put out there. Yeah, it's unfortunate when you hit 7 legs out of 8, and the one that you didn't get was a James Conner tutty, anytime tutty. Like, come on, a James Conner anytime tutty. I didn't get that. The one game he does it, and that's all I needed. Oh man! But I was locked in for another Cardinals loss. And the reason why is thanks to the good folks at BetMGM. Their sportsbook app always keeps me locked into all the sports I watch, and it makes sports more fun. I threw a $10 wager on that 8-leg parlay. It was going to win me $100, right? James Conner, need you to step up. I'm not going to not bet on you anymore because I'm going to still bet on you.
I'm betting on Jake Myers, just all the field goal props today because I need him to have 7 fantasy points.
He does.
Beat Totri.
To beat Totri. It's a must.
7
it's an
points
imperative.
from my kicker.
Totri's in first place in our fantasy league.
On the line on Monday night.
We cannot have that happen. We don't need Totri in first place.
I need to get back to it too.
Emma will be in first place. Should
you know who's in last place? Who has yet to win?
Saul
Bookman has yet to win in our fantasy football league.
Saul's texted me about my tweets. He should worry more about his kicker being his second highest scoring player on his team. That's what he should worry about. But anyway, make sure to check out BetMGM because you can get down on all sorts of fun, including getting yourself some free money. If you're a brand new user, all you got to do is download the BetMGM Sportsbook app, visit BetMGM.com and sign up using our code of PHNX. You can sign up and deposit at least $10 into your newly created account and place a wager in that amount of at least $10 at a standard odds price. Once you have placed that qualifying bet, you'll receive $200 instantly in bonus bets, regardless of the outcome of your wager. Sign up for BetMGM and use that bonus code PHNX. Again, place your first BetMGM Sportsbook wager through BetMGM Sportsbook mobile application of at least $10. You will receive $200 instantly in additional winnings, regardless of your wager's outcome. Check out the show notes for full details. And now listen to Shane, who we still miss a lot, talk about the disclaimer.
Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Colorado, D.C., Illinois, Indiana, Kansas, Louisiana, Maryland, Mississippi, New Jersey, Nevada, Ohio, Pennsylvania, Tennessee, Virginia, West Virginia, Wyoming. Call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY 467-369 New York. Call 1-800-327-5050 Massachusetts. 21 plus to wager. Please gamble responsibly. Call 1-800-NEXT-STEP Arizona. 1-800-BETS-OFF Iowa. 1-800-270-7117 for confidential help Michigan. 1-800-981-0023 Puerto Rico in partnership with Kansas Crossing Casino and Hotel. Visit BetMGM.com for terms and conditions. U.S. promotional offers not available in D.C., New York, or Ontario.
Four Peaks, of course, is the official craft beer of your Arizona Diamondbacks, and it is the craft beer that I recommend celebrating with at any time, whether it's a win, whether it's a loss. Of course, that Wow Wheat Joy Bus is my favorite to do all of that with. It's also pumpkin porter season, so make sure to get in the fall state of mind with pumpkin porter back on the shelves and in draft lines throughout the valley. Of course, don't miss out on this wonderful variety of beer that Four Peaks has to offer. Visit fourpeaks.com/locator to find all your favorite brewery tours and events. Stein Holding, Oktoberfest, and Haunted Brewery tours are right around the corner. Check out at Four Peaks Brew at Four Peaks Pub to keep up with the latest at Arizona's hometown brewery. Must be 21 or older to drink Four Peaks, and please drink responsibly. Pull back the curtain a little bit. Jesse Friedman just joined us here a moment ago and then said how he needs to hurry up and then said he had to go, and then he left. So
also never told us he was going to call.
Yeah, we didn't even know that this was happening. So, but Jesse has arrived safely in Milwaukee, and that definitely relieves a lot of anxiety I was having. I had more anxiety about Jesse not drinking enough water and arriving safely than I did about the Diamondbacks offense. So just to let you know where my anxiety scale is at for this upcoming series with the Brewers. We do have more Mailbag Monday questions, though, so let's hit that now. What do we got, Damon? Alex, and I'm not reading. Alex and a bunch of numbers. X3 on Twitter asked, after we beat the Brewers, do the Dodgers worry you?
Everyone worries me.
Everybody worries us.
Let's beat the Brewers first.
Yeah, let's worry about one team first. No, to be honest, I mean, I do have a lot of positives in regards to that series, right? I have a lot of things that I'm like, especially this time off. I don't think this is a benefit for the Dodgers or the Brewers.
Yeah,
but,
they're an older roster too.
Yeah.
Right? Like, that's not going to play.
Yeah, maybe it's good, but maybe you sit out too long and you just get that crank in your knee again.
It's one of those things, if the D-backs can get hot and beat the Brewers, then it's a detriment to the Dodgers.
Yeah,
if the D-backs sort of limp through this series, then it's a good thing for the Dodgers. This is another one, like, I don't know, man. Let's just see what happens. Yeah. It's
they're playoff choke artists.
Yeah, Dodgers historically do not perform in the playoffs.
They did was Mickey Mouse ring.
Mickey Mouse ring and the freaking Marlins squeaked into the playoffs that year.
And then we're asking, we're just asking whoever takes on the Braves to take care of business down there. Yeah. Let's just get like maybe a little Marlins, Diamondbacks,
Although
NLCS.
I will say this. Oh, well, yeah, the Marlins, sure. If like a Phillies team that has just won the wild card and then beaten the Braves is more terrifying to me than a Braves team that has just beaten the Phillies.
That's fair.
Absolutely.
Or the Marlins.
That's
I don't want anything to do with a hot Phillies team. In the NLCS.
Yeah. No, gross.
Definitely getting a little
Sounds terrifying. Yeah, we are. Why not? Well, let's talk crazy before we can't talk crazy anymore, right?
Who do you guys want in the World Series?
Yeah, that's the Diamondbacks.
I just realized that my D-backs versus Mariners in the World Series prop is dead. I had that future sitting for a minute.
Rangers D-backs.
Ew.
No.
God, no.
No.
Orioles. Give me the O's.
Yeah, that would
Give
be
me the
great.
O's.
That would be great. You guys are adding extra questions on.
Give me the
Why are we
Twins,
adding
I
extra
guess?
questions on? I fucking send a tweet out and I say, reply to this tweet with your questions. And then we can't just be adding extra questions on.
Nah, we can do whatever we want.
Yeah, no, we really can. Jesse's not here to tell us to stop, so it's fine. What else we got, Damon? See, he left. Michael Rokicki says, excluding the 2001 team for obvious reasons and this year's team, to quote Cody Rhodes, they have to finish the story. What is your favorite D-backs postseason team? I will say this in regards to the whole metaphor there about the Cody Rhodes to finish the story thing. I feel like that's very much Torey Lovullo's mantra here, right? Like Torey Lovullo has, he's still going to be around next season. We don't know what the future holds for him or Mike Hazen or anybody in regards to this coaching staff or this team. But Torey Lovullo was, had a lot of success almost immediately when he became manager of this team in that 2017 season. So I think that this is a chance for him to get his team back in the postseason after all these years and maybe kind of put that ghost of the 2017 season behind them a bit. Who knows what they can do. That was a single game and then they had to play the Dodgers. This is a series, but anything can happen. And I think if some magic can happen for Torey and he can make it to that next round against LA, it'll be crazy to see how this team can perform against what a lot of people call the inevitable the inevitable team that would be here at the end, or you could say that about the Braves too. But
RIP the 1-game playoff.
Yeah,
the wild card game was so much fun.
Yeah,
for
me, 2017 was just such a fun team.
Yeah.
There was just something so special about that team, especially, covering. That was the year I covered literally every single game with them. And it was just so much fun being around. They were just such a special group of guys.
It really was.
That was fun. 2011 was a really fun team. There was some magic in that 2011
team. I mean, the Diamondbacks have just with the exception of the team that won the World Series, they've always kind of been this scrappy team of guys who kind of don't have any business here.
Really had no business being there.
Like the 2017 was probably the team that people believed in the most as far as their cast and things like that.
Obviously, other than 2001, right? 2017 was the best team the D-backs have ever put together.
Yeah,
that was just such a talented team, top to bottom. And if it weren't for the wild card game where they completely exhausted themselves, who knows what happened? I saw I don't remember who put the comment up there, but there was one that D-backs handed it to the Dodgers in 2017.
They absolutely did.
In the regular season, and then exhausted themselves. Yeah, there it is.
Yeah.
Exhausted themselves in that wild card game, and then just kind of ran out of gas there at the end. Man, that 2017 was so much fun.
They really were. They really were.
Man, Archie's triple. Where were you when Archie hit the triple? I don't remember because I got so excited I blacked out.
I know where I was.
Right field.
I was in right field.
That was on.
I was in the auxiliary press box.
That was one of the most leads. I'm getting chills to think that was one of the most special moments of my entire life. Yeah, so 2017 incredible. Is always going to hold such a special place in my heart.
Yeah. This is my first Diamondbacks playoffs.
Yeah.
Welcome aboard.
Welcome, buddy.
So prior to this,
cherish it
to piss everyone off. My only real experience with the Diamondbacks prior in the postseason was 2007.
Get out.
Also a very fun season.
Just go.
Apologies.
Close your laptop.
I will say no. Because happy ending. The Red Sox got revenge for the D-backs and swept the Rockies in the World Series. So
that was a fun postseason.
It was a tremendous postseason for me.
Very, very good. Very good postseason.
99 was fun because that was our first time.
Yeah.
But
yes. All right. What else we got, Damon? Bold as bronze. Gabriel has this question: who's most likely to win an MVP first, Corbin Carroll or Gabriel Moreno?
Dude, we're putting Gabby in the MVP
at
talk
least
already.
For the D-backs, you can argue either one is the MVP. Yeah, I mean, I still think Corbin Carroll is their MVP. I really do. I think this is going to be Corbin Carroll's year to become a superstar. I mean, it already has been, but I think that honestly, we had an actual discussion at one point this season about Carroll's chances at MVP.
Yeah.
I do think that Gabriel Moreno, the one thing that he has is that I feel like he's going to stand out head and shoulders above the rest of the catchers in the league.
Yeah.
And I think next season will probably be his season for that. So that's going to be a big, a big achievement for him, where he is going to be considered, I think, one of the best catchers in baseball.
Yeah, and I've had this discussion with Bo, who is a Red Sox fan, an Orioles fan, about who the best catcher in baseball is, and he's very adamant about Adley Rutschman, and why wouldn't you be? But you go down the list of catchers, and it's Adley Rutschman, Gabby Moreno, and then who else?
Yeah, I don't know.
It is a very shallow talent pool there at catcher. Corbin Carroll is going to put up the stats. He's the flashy player. I think, Shawn, you have said it, but it bears repeating. There is a very real chance that when Corbin Carroll retires, he is the greatest Diamondback of all time.
Build him the statue now.
Listen,
I
just
think,
start it now. Take your time building it.
I just think Corbin Carroll does everything so well. He's the superstar. He's great all the way down, but he has the flashy stats as well. So I think it's Corbin Carroll.
I refuse to have a Diamondbacks MVP conversation come up without mentioning Ketel Marte, who I've said multiple times I think is this team's MVP this year. I mean, obviously, as far as like an actual MVP award, it's always going to be Corbin. Like, Corbin is going to finish with MVP votes this year, and Gabby's not even going to be remotely close to that conversation. I do think, like, if you want to have a conversation of who's going to be like higher ranked at their position, like you were saying, Danielle, like, I think Gabby is going to be a top 3 catcher in baseball for the next decade. I mean, you could argue that Corbin's going to be a top 3 outfielder in baseball for the next decade, but like, there are guys like Mookie Betts and Ronald Acuna that exist that make that a little more difficult. But yeah, I mean, he's the best catcher, or Corbin is the best player on this team by and large. Like, he is obviously, if one of them is going to win an MVP, it's going to be him.
Here comes Elise, again, known baseball GM Elise, saying all the other names of catchers.
JT is bad at points. Isn't Jonah Heim kind of dog water too at points? Yeah.
We're talking
Jonah Heim, the pride of
MVP.
Buffalo, New York.
Jonah Heim is one of those guys that gets kind of lost in the prospect projection.
Jonah Heim's batting 258.
He's a good player, but I think scouts are so high on him that it precedes his actual.
If I remember correctly, his like actual like catching ability, like his pop time and stuff like that, is not really that good.
Yeah. And he's
not like a great defensive catcher.
Yeah. And he's so big.
Yeah,
that like there's not really anything you can do about fixing pop time.
And Gabby is one of the best defensive catchers, if not the best.
He sure the hell is. All right, what else we got? Colin Kozak asks, what is a bold prediction for who the Diamondbacks may sign or trade for this offseason? 2024 always seemed like the year, whereas we are ahead of schedule, and 2023 is gravy. And yeah, that's what we've been talking about quite a bit here, is that 2023 is the gravy, right? 2024 has felt kind of like the year. We've often said you really want to capitalize on Zach Gallen's seasons left with this team because we don't know what the future holds for him. We would love for him to stay here. Obviously, that would be the goal. That would be everybody's wish, but Zach Gallen is going to be a very, very hot commodity when he becomes a free agent. And I think that he is going to, being a smart guy, he's going to try to maximize the amount of money he can, obviously bring in for himself, and who knows where that leads him. But I think that does put the Diamondbacks on a little bit of a time frame. And I do think in 2024, they've seen that this team has been competitive. They will have a chance to go out this offseason and make moves that improve this team. Obviously, the biggest concern seems to be, their starting rotation and who is going to complete the rest of their starting rotation, as well as what are they going to do at third base.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I mean, if we're looking for bold predictions, is that Ken Kendrick just opens up the fucking pocketbook and goes and gets Matt Chapman. He's going to be the best third baseman available as a free agent.
That would say a lot.
Oh my God.
That would say a lot.
I would say all the words.
Right?
I mean, it's Damon is mouthing. It's not happening. It's definitely not happening.
No,
that's why it's my bold prediction.
It's kind of like me saying Zach Gallen. I don't want to say Zach Gallen staying here isn't happening, but I'll be honest, deep down inside, I feel like that's going to be what the result is. And I feel like the Diamondbacks kind of have to operate in that way as well. So you do want to try to surround Zach with the best team that you can surround him with in the meantime. Yeah. And I mean, he is one of the best pitchers in baseball. I mean, he was in the Cy Young Award race right up until the end, and really a few bad starts here or there was really what made the difference for Zach in regards to him potentially winning that award. But all credit to Blake Snell and what he did this year, because he deserves it, and he probably would have won it regardless of how well Zach pitched, because he did do some historic things. But I just think that what you said, even though, yes, it's a bold prediction. Yes, Damon's over there being a negative Nancy and not letting us have our fun over here. He's regulating fun on this podcast. But
I'm not going to ever be like, yeah, Ken Kendrick's really going to open up the pocketbooks.
Well,
like, that's not something that I'm ever going to bank on.
Here's what I will say.
Bold prediction.
Here's what I will say is that
prediction also, is something you think will happen.
Erod is not coming to Arizona.
Let me finish. All I want to say is that opening up the pocketbook doesn't even make sense in a lot of occasions. So that's the big thing, is that even this team has done that before and it didn't really work out. They've typically focused on paying for a starting pitcher that is elite, that they think is elite, that they typically think that they're trying to get, like in the case of Zach Greinke or Madison Bumgarner, at kind of at the tail end of their career, but still has something left in the tank to offer. They're willing to pay that money. And honestly, I think that there are times where it's really not worth opening the pocketbook. I don't think this team has been good enough at times for them to go out and spend a lot of money on a big name free agent. That's over now. That's done. We're here now. You know what adding free agents, what trades did for this team. I mean, literally, the Diamondbacks probably wouldn't even be here in the postseason had they not made that trade to bring in Paul Sewald. So that key move to solidify their closer and give them that high leverage back end reliever, even though it hasn't gone perfect, even though Paul Sewald hasn't, been the lights out closer, he has been much better than any option this team had.
He is a closer when the team didn't have one.
Right.
I'm willing to make a bold prediction.
Do it.
How do you like the name Nolan Arenado?
Oh, come on.
The Cardinals.
Stop it.
Are terrible.
They are terrible.
Terrible. They got a lot of money wrapped up in older guys.
Okay, if we're doing this,
just
then
saying.
Do I have a name for you?
I'm just saying, Shohei Ohtani.
No. A third baseman that's really good at a team that kind of sucks. You know who I'm thinking of, Damon. We were talking about him the other day. J-Ram. If teams are just getting rid of players, bring them on down. Bring them on down. That's my G.
I mean, come on, who's going to mess with us with him and Tommy Pham both on the roster?
Bro, but the Dominicans on this team would run the world. Like, it wouldn't even be a question. It would be awesome. And also, the reason Erod's not coming here is because he's made it very clear he wants to be on the East Coast. That's why he vetoed the trade to the Dodgers. I don't think Arizona is what he meant by East Coast.
All right, well, we'll see.
Can I just say I really like Danielle bold predictions, because they usually pan out for us. So I hope it happens too.
Do I need to look like dead in camera and make that? I just,
say Shohei Ohtani.
Get out of here, Damon.
Yeah,
Get out of here.
I saw a comment in there like,
you're
imagine
an absolute monster, Damon.
Ohtani pool shots in the purple and teal.
Screw pool shots. How about jumbotron shots over the monster in center field into the black hole
in purple and teal?
Yes,
I love it. All right, we got one more question, and this one's an important one. This one comes from Tim Ankenman. Of course, I hope I got that right. Tim says, I'm making some D-backs themed food for dinner to watch the game tomorrow. Any thoughts or ideas of what I should make? Favorite food from Chase Field, maybe.
Ooh.
We got you, Tim. We got you. First of all, you're going to need to make Sonoran dogs.
Yeah, that's the easy one right there.
Sonoran dogs is it. I mean, Sonoran dogs is exactly what you want from Chase Field. Little bacon-wrapped hot dog, little pico de gallo on top, beans, other mayo and mustard. And I don't even like mustard, and it needs mayo and mustard on it. What are your thoughts?
What else could we do?
Churro dogs?
Yeah.
Churro dogs. Make sure to keep the churros separate from the ice cream until the absolute last minute.
Just don't
until the absolute last minute.
Make the churro dog. Just eat all the ingredients together.
That's not a terrible idea either.
Put the churro on lemonade,
the side.
like
Grandma made?
Yeah, like Grandma made.
Oh, yeah. But then you got to go around your house yelling
Yeah,
while you're drinking it.
Of course, obviously.
What do you got?
Chocolate chip cookies. Yeah, I heard Damon back there. Chocolate chip cookies.
Yeah.
Listen, I am leaning all into the Sirpentes.
Okay.
Just go all Mexican, man. Make some carne asada.
Yeah.
Make some chips and salsa.
Yeah.
Rice and beans. Lean into it, man.
Yeah.
This is Arizona, baby. We're playing a team from Wisconsin. They don't know good food up
Carne
there.
asada is not present enough at Chase Field.
It's not present enough anywhere.
Yeah, true.
It's true.
Lean into it. This is Arizona, baby.
Yeah.
They
I had
don't
carne asada last night.
They don't got Nicholas there with the bao bun. That bao
Cool,
bun
though.
is phenomenal.
The bao bun is amazing. Yeah, the bao bun's crazy.
Is so good. But
Yeah.
also,
but lean into it. They don't got Mexican food up in Wisconsin as PHNX's resident Mexican here.
Yeah.
We're going all in on this, baby.
I'm with it. Yeah, but the Sonoran dogs are a must. I'm sorry. Sonoran dogs are the perfect combination of that Hispanic heritage that we have down here, along with hot dog culture and baseball, of course. It's the perfect blend. All right. Well, we thank you guys, of course, so much for sending your questions, for being here for this extra big playoff edition of the Mailbag Monday. Of course, if you haven't signed up for a Die Hard membership yet, do so right now. You get a free piece of merchandise for the PHNX locker. Get that wagon shirt. Get down on wagon shirt. Not only do you get a free piece of merchandise for free from the PHNX locker, you also get 20% off all future purchases. So if you are already a diehard, make sure to grab that shirt for 20% off. Of course, you also have all sorts of wonderful benefits being a diehard member, including members only access to our Discord lounge. You get all of our content on gophnx.com. You also get deals from our sponsors. You get a Dobson Ranch card. You get a $50 gift certificate from Mountain Mike's, so much more. So join us today and become part of our diehard family. Most importantly, grab that wagon shirt. The wagon shirt is the perfect way to celebrate this team's, not only this season, this team's achievement, but to root them on in the playoffs.
And for the future.
And for the future.
Next year too.
Yeah.
Mine shipped today, baby. I'm ready.
Yeah.
That's right. Yeah. It's not just a wagon now. The wagon now, then, and forever.
The wagon never dies.
Yeah. But, of course, the best way to watch your Arizona Diamondbacks is with Fubo TV. They have 140-plus live channels of sports shows, movies, and news. And, of course, you can stream live TV from any device. You can start watching immediately with a free trial, and then there's no hassle as far as signing up. You just got to do that. Sign up, start watching. There's no contract, no cable, none of that. There's 1,000 hours of cloud DVR included at no extra charge. And of course, you can watch all of the wonderful upcoming events this month, because October is like the pinnacle of sports. Basketball's back, hockey's back, baseball's in the playoffs, NFL is in full swing, college football full swing. So don't miss out on all this great stuff on Fubo TV. You can watch all your favorite teams with Fubo. Go to FuboTV.com/PHNX to sign up for 15% off of your first month of Fubo Pro. And Connor Mormon said it best. He says, this wagon stays rolling. He corrected his grammar, but yes, this wagon says rolling too.
Connor really dirty for the audio listeners.
Yeah, we did it. I know they didn't need to hear that, but I don't care. I pull back the curtain on this show. That's what I do. But we thank you guys for being here, for watching, and for rooting on this wagon. Of course, this is going to be a fun playoff. Make sure to join us tomorrow. We will have a pregame show at 3:30 p.m. The first pitch is at 4:08, and then we will be back here 10 minutes after the final out with our post-game show. So make sure to join us for however long the playoffs last for the Arizona Diamondbacks. We will be doing that for each and every game. So make sure to join us. Of course, you can follow us on Twitter. I am at cap_caveman with a K. Shawn is at Shawn_DePaz. Danielle is at Abracadanielle. The maniac behind the Mac, that is Damon. We are Damon's dogs. Of course, you can follow him at Damon Dog. That's DAWG there at the end. Our show is at PHNX_DBacks, but of course, all roads do lead to at PHNX Sports, _sports on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. We thank you guys again so much for your time. And remember, kids, baseball is fun, but it's more fun when you celebrate your achievements in the 162-game season by jumping in the goddamn pool.